All right. Good morning and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. Pajama Sunday, actually, but it's freezing in my house. And I'm in actually kind of pajamas, but welcome. I got an important show, I feel, today. Oh, all right. So we've all been hearing about Frankenwolf, the dire wolf that's been brought back, right? The dire wolf that has been brought back supposedly by this colossal company with nothing but good intentions, which I don't think so. I honestly think that it's not such great intentions, but well, here we go. So, Jennifer and I actually did a show on this company like 3 years ago when the when they were talking about the woolly mammoth specifically, and I thought at the time, you know, the the investment in the mammoth was stupid. Bringing back a cold weather animal, right? On an ever heating planet, what are they going to have to live in an air conditioned cage, right? Its entire existence. So I have major problems here. And yes, of course, we've seen Jurassic Park. We know a lot of this gene editing stuff is quite, well, I think it's quite disturbing, but of course, they don't. They don't. So we're going to get started. I really have a lot. And let me say hi to you guys. Dog Dude, Bella, thank you very much for moderating. Shade Dragon, hi, Mark, Foggy, and Karen so far that I see in the chat. But I am really, really glad. And I have a lot of information now. Everybody, here, wait, let me take a quick sip here. I don't want to go so close and have you hear me gulp. Everybody and their brother has been doing a video on this issue. Some are happy about it. Some are saying, well, this is bullshit. So we're going to go through a lot of information today. We have to.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Right. They didn't think if they should. And I don't think they should. Because I'll start out by saying I think that this is a colossal big bunch of crap. And it's just another thing for billionaires to invest in to try to control everything that we do. So let's start out. I mean, I really do have a lot going on today. We're going to start and get the articles up. Now, like I said, Jennifer and I did this. We did this years ago. Absolutely years ago. And I can show you quickly. See? There's a that was the show. And as we saw, yep,
Our
yep, yep, yep,
long-term
yep.
rewilding of the Arctic involves
So
many parties around
this
the
was about
table
the
in
woolly
full collaboration with
that was about the woolly mammoth. But I'm going to start with an article that God damn, my screen is messed up. I'm going to start with actually this. This is from MIT. And while I'm not going to read all of them, I'm going to tell you why I think it's out of everything that we go through, why I think, personally, I think it's crap. And of course, people were arguing with me. Facebook has a gazillion articles on it, and people are like, oh, this is great. Like they really believe that this is going to help conservation. And I have to say, when the guy says that the Ben Lamb says that this is going to help school children get interested in science in a country that is getting rid of science, you just have to laugh. You really do. You have to laugh because it's ludicrous. So are they dire? They claim it has revived an extinct species, but scientists outside are skeptical. Of course they're skeptical because it's probably it's Not the kind of thing I would do. Not the kind of thing most scientists would do. But scientists that like money, like Susan Shapiro, maybe would do. And we're going to go through her. So it's a 2,000-acre preserve, and it has 9-foot fence built to zoo standard, off limits, of course, because of their, they say they have a number of species that went extinct 13,000 years ago and now reborn via biotechnology. And they are in Texas, of course. And they call it de-extincted. And now what they did was they did it with the dire wolf, supposedly. Well, that could be another reason for high fences and secret location to fend off scientific critics, some of whom have already been howling that the company is a scam, perpetrating elephantine fantasies on the public and engaging in pure hype, which I do feel. And I can tell you why I feel this way. Because, and I'm just going to go over this, my few notes here that I got from chat. Peter Thiel is involved. And it's part of a broader pattern of his investments in very high risk, high reward biotech, longevity, and civilization scale technology. He's funding things that are not only moonshots, but also serve two deeper purpose for him. Now, Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, you know, the tech bros that are working with the Heartland or Heritage Foundation. It's all such great timing. Thiel has always been fascinated by the concept of defying death and pushing the boundaries of human potential, except, of course, in the United States, where the boundaries of human potential are definitely going to hell. But robot potential? Ask Leon Tusk. Yeah. So basically, I want to get to this one. Strategic tech investment with potential for defense and biotech applications. Colossal isn't just about mammoths or dire wolves. It's about advancing CRISPR, gene editing, synthetic biology, and reproductive technologies. These have dual uses. In conversation, yes, but also in human gene editing, bioengineering, and even biosecurity. Thiel's investments have a hidden layer. They might look eccentric. They might quietly position him at the front of an emerging market. Think Palantir for data, Anduril for defense, and Colossal for genetic tech. If Colossal advances gene editing tech, the spin-offs could be hugely profitable in agriculture, climate solutions, okay, pharmaceuticals, and possibly military technology. So these are the people that are in it. And they've got investments from Peter Thiel, Thomas Tull, another billionaire, founder of legendary entertainment, think Dark Knight, Inception, and a serious tech and life sciences investor. Tull is big on conservation and biotech, and Colossal aligns with both. Tony Robbins, yep, the self-help mogul and motivational speaker. He's wealthy with hundreds of millions of money from unsuspecting clueless morons who want to listen to how to make your life better, which is not anything I think is real, but millions of people obviously do, and they're really willing to shell their money out so people like Tony Robbins can fly around on Learjets. So he's publicly listed. Jim Breyer, he's a legendary Silicon venture capitalist, early Facebook investor. Breyer is a key backer and also sits on their advisory board. Richard Garriott, he's an entrepreneur, game developer, and a private astronaut. We are definitely going into the Twilight Zone. What is a private astronaut? Garrett's interest is a mix of adventure capital and biotech optimism. And honorable mention to Paris Hilton. She's not a billionaire, but worth flagging because she's invested and has been vocal about de-extinction advocacy for endangered species. She's part of Colossal's celebrity investor and influence circuit, which they use for PR leverage. So it is a serious platform. This is what ChatGPT is telling me, and I have it, so I'm using it. But I'm going back to my articles because, of course, I would rather do the research myself, but I cheated today. And it did tell me about Peter Thiel, because nothing that Peter Thiel does is for anything but for Peter Thiel. I do not believe he's in it. He's for the good of anybody but Peter Thiel and the technology industry to pretty much take over everything. And I feel sorry for the kids that have to live in this world. I won't be. So MIT, I'm going to go down because I have a lot here. Each animal, the company says, has 20 genetic changes across 14 genes designed to make them larger, change their facial features, and give them a Snow White appearance. Well, really quickly, I have a new person that I found, and I'm going to set up. His name is Grayson. I really like him. He's got a very small YouTube channel, but we're going to watch Grayson talk about this specific information.
The PR for this has been so insane. They've literally had photo shoots of these things sitting on the throne from Game of Thrones, and all of these science journalists and news anchors have been talking about these things like they're direwolves brought back from extinction after thousands of years, and it's driving me up the wall. Direwolves are an ancient species that's in a different genus than the wolves and dogs of today, which are in genus Canis, whereas direwolves are a separate genus, Anoscion. Today, there are no living members of Anoscion left. However, we do have several samples of them, the most famous of which being from the La Brea tar pits in LA. And the scientists at Colossal actually did start with genuine ancient direwolf DNA samples that they got from 2 different specimens. Now, these DNA samples are fragmentary because of how old they are, but the scientists were still able to read them and see what genuine direwolf genes were like, and from that infer what types of traits the direwolves likely had based on those genes. However, there was just one problem, right? These scientists did not take the genes from the direwolf and implant them into a gray wolf to make it some sort of new genetic hybrid. That still wouldn't be a direwolf, but that's not even what these scientists did, because they found out that 3 of these genes, which contributed to a direwolf's phenotype, specifically its fur pattern, when you put it into a gray wolf, remember, a different genus, not just a different species, but a different genus of animal, well, it results in genetic deformities such as blindness and deafness. So obviously they didn't just put the direwolf genes into a gray wolf because it was incompatible. So what did the scientists do? They looked at the direwolf genes and they noticed that they were very similar to the gray wolf genes, except for a few slight changes in amino acid substitutions. The scientists isolated about 14 different substitutions that needed to be made to the gray wolf genome to make it resemble more like the genes that they selected in the direwolf genome. So this is not taking the genes from the direwolf and implanting it into a gray wolf. It's slightly tweaking the most efficacious locations in the genome of a gray wolf to mutate those proteins to make them more similar to the direwolf proteins. This is genetic cosplay. If you were to perform a DNA test on this animal, it would come back Canis lupus, gray wolf.
I love how he explained it. It's cosplay, genetic cosplay. I thought that was really good. And his name is Grayson Hawk. I'm going to find him, just like I found so many other small YouTubers, to potentially interview him because his channel looks good. He'll be in the show notes. So I liked it. Dire wolf or not. The new wolves demonstrate that science is becoming more deft in its control over the genomes of animals and point to how that skill could help in conversation. Okay. Conservation. I'm sorry. I'm snarky. I've got to do the first flush of the day because just the thought of all this editing and de-extincting. No. Sorry. Because we have so many other problems. De-extincting animals is not going to solve them. Even if they do think the woolly mammoth is going to eat help by eating the things that are living around the permafrost so as not to melt it, even though it's warming, it's kind of crazy. So it's got a large cultural following. The motivation really is to develop tools that we can stop the species from becoming extinct. Do we need ancient DNA for that? Maybe not. Now, that's her. This is Beth. Beth is the PhD evolutionary biologist who specialized in the genetics. It's a bit genetics of Ice Age animals and plants. A professor of ecology and evolutionary biology at UC Santa Cruz, where she should have stayed. And HHMI investigator, Beth uses DNA recovered from bones and other remains to study how species evolve through time and how human activities have affected and continue to affect this dynamic process. Her work focuses on organisms ranging from influenza to mammoths, asking questions about domestication, admixture, specialization, or speciation, and pathogen evolution. Her current work develops techniques to recover increasingly trace amounts of DNA, such as from environmental and forensic samples. She got a 2009 MacArthur Fellow. She's an award-winning popular science author and communicator who uses her research as a platform to explore the potential of genomic technologies for conservation and medicine. I understand the medicine part, but I don't understand the conservation part. No matter what I read on it, it just feels wrong. It doesn't feel like bringing back or doing de-extinction is going to conserve anything. So this one is why billionaire Trumpers love this direwolf rubbish. No, they're not back. But pretending they can be brought back is a good excuse to gut regulations that protect real endangered species. Now we get down to business. Billionaires and rolling back regulations, lots of things. The return of the direwolf. On the venerable news magazine's cover, the word extinct is crossed out as you see it. I used it for my Frankenwolf cover. This is Remus, the cover declares. And above the image is a white canid. He's a direwolf. The first to exist in 10,000 years. Endangered species could change forever. Rolling Stone was equally as incredulous.
That animal.
Oh, right? Rolling Stone. I mean, everybody's getting involved in this shit. It's a big diversion.
That animal looks like a direwolf, it will behave like a direwolf, and it is a direwolf.
All right, so I think she's kind of full of it too, actually, because it's very much the money. If all these billionaires are in there, and they're looking for more, I believe that they're looking for more. But some of the media headlines have been just breathless. Time magazine hailed the return of the direwolf. No, Washington Post and Scientific American actually pointed out it's not really one. But I can't believe Rolling Stone was equally credulous 12,000 years later. Direwolves are back. Come on, Rolling Stone. Direwolves are still extinct. And then they go into what I was talking about earlier, backed by Peter Thiel and other God cosplaying billionaires, as Grayson had said in his video, was able to breed the gray wolves with some direwolf DNA, bigger and whiter creatures. We already went through all that, but you can't make this stuff up. As the American empire teeters on the brink of collapse, the billionaires laying waste to what's left of our natural world and human civilization are not only trying to bring back dangerous, long extinct animals, but naming them after the mythological founders of an empire that went extinct itself due to its rulers' arrogance. These admittedly handsome critters could easily become symbols of our own imperial collapse, and this is an article close to me that I feel. It would be hard for these animals or any descendant from them to survive in the wild. The large game that dire wolves hunted isn't as plentiful in our current world, and their old habitats are mostly gone. It's easy to imagine that without the woolly mammoths or buffalo to eat, these future hybrids could turn on us. In a parable of the sour scenario, not exactly what we need now. But even more disturbing than the overexcitable media coverage or the dystopian possibilities are the conclusions that the current administration has drawn from this quixotic little adventure. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, a billionaire, like many others in the Trump administration, says the appearance of these wolves, that endangered species need innovation, not regulation. So that is, what did you hear? Not regulation. They're already scamming. An echo of the trendy abundance discord, currently beloved by centrist Democrats. Burgum told employees in an Interior Department meeting Wednesday, if we're going to anguish about losing a species, now we have an opportunity to bring them back. Pick your favorite species and call Colossal. Colossal also has plans to bring back the woolly mammoth, which is what Jennifer and I went through on our show. Pick your favorite species, right? Just pick your favorite species. And an even stupider idea, it's about the woolly mammoth, and one that, of course, Leon Tusk is excited about. And we talked about this 3 years ago, Jennifer and I, because they wanted to use it. They were using this Siberia, the high Arctic, what is where these Franken woolly mammoth creatures would live. Burgum's position is dangerously deranged. Nature itself is innovating all the time, but the most important way that humans can save endangered species is by regulating our own activities to protect them and their inhabitants. The latter is known way. It's the only known way that species like the Florida panthers have returned from near extinction and keeps many other species from getting there. As the Washington Post implied in an article on Thursday, the administration is using this weird science experiment to justify its own plans to decimate endangered species protections that have been in place since the Nixon administration. And God, that goddamn pisses me off. It's like, it is. It's terrifying, right? Even before Trump and his band of anti-environmental bandits announced these plans, scientists have flagged more than 1 million species for risk of extinction in coming decades. These changes that Burgum is currently making will imperil spotted owls, sea turtles, and many, many more. So why in this context do our oligarchs eschew protection for animals we already love, like whales and manatees, preferring to bring back some rejiggered hapless version of the ancient dire wolf, which no current ecosystem needs? Precisely for the reason Burgum admits they don't want regulation. They claim that's because regulation has failed, but that's nonsense. The Endangered Species Act has saved the vast majority of listed species from extinction, including the gray whale, the peregrine falcon, the grizzly bear, and the bald eagle, our national bird. Oligarchs prefer Colossal's entirely untested and wildly inefficient approach because its supposed innovation puts that at the center, and because, even better, shredding regulation allows them to continue trashing the world unhindered, destroying anything that stands in their way of profits. And isn't that what I said in the beginning, giving you the names of the people that are invested in this shit? And I haven't even gone over the owners yet. Speaking of current species that need the regulatory system that Burgum is trying so hard to eviscerate, we still have real live wolves. Yeah, and in fact, I think what's her name from Colorado put in a bill to have no protection so you can just open fire. Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert. A bill so that you can just go and shoot wolves all over the place, you know, just like anything else. They want to take the protections off them. So maybe they'll genetically modify some kind of gray wolf, and just so that people can just hunt it, you know, like Don Jr. So the gray wolf, a magnificent animal that cannot be improved by oligarchic interference, oh really, is particularly besieged by human policies. The wolf has been protected by the Endangered Species Act, which is what Boebert wants to say, fuck you, when it was haunted nearly to extinction. Since then, the species has rebounded in many Western states, but Trump removed protections for gray wolves in 2020. I'm talking about something different for, what's her name? Boebert. And we can look it up. Idaho and Montana are deliberately seeking to reduce their numbers, killing them recklessly. Republican billionaires and far-right politicians may applaud the engineering of this strange lab-grown model, but the world they're creating is utterly inhospitable to the real wolf. The only way this direwolf project could be helpful to the cause of conservation is if Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi grow up with a special appetite for oligarchs. That, I must admit, would be an outcome worthy of significant research investment. But that's not what Peter Thiel has in mind. I really like that. That was really good. That was really good. They get an applause at the New Republic. Abso-fucking-lutely. They get a new applause. So it was good. I liked it. And I've gone on Slate. They're not the amazing breakthrough. They're a disturbing symbol. Sorry, it's early and I'm tired of where we are heading. And we should not be celebrating de-extinction. We should be focused on the species that are currently endangered. Oh, they're so cute. You know, I mean, they're just so cute, but they're not that cute. I mean, when you think about how they were created, how were they created? They were created using DNA. They were created in a lab, kind of in vitro fertilization without the DNA because they're not doing it with humans yet, right? Not yet. I'm going to go back to the DNA chain. I think that's easier on your eyes. So we all know the story now, and they call the creatures the direwolf. And let's see here. So first, the dire wolves and gray wolves, like the ones whose genes Colossal modified, evolved independently from each other over millions of years. Through the exact degree to which they are related might depend on whom you ask. In 2021, a multidisciplinary group of researchers found that fossil dire wolves, like those found by thousands in LA's La Brea asphalt seep, were not closely related to the wolves that roam our planet today. Dire wolves appeared to be descendants of an older line of canids. And this is the what Grayson Hawk was talking about. The larger family that includes everything from domestic dogs to foxes that split off from other canids about 5 million years ago, though they are genetically closer to jackals. They convergently evolved. Sometimes experts have difficulty properly identifying a dire wolf fossil from a prehistoric gray one. So there you go. I mean, it's 10,000 years ago, and that's what they want to do. But there was something else in this, because this is very long, and of course I'm not. Oh, to put it another way, and this is what they're going through. Colossus dire wolves, are like Tesla's disastrous Cybertruck. I don't think it's a coincidence that the co-founder of Colossal is a billionaire. And this is where I want to go. I want to talk about the people behind all this. Sometimes rich felt a pang of nostalgia and made a demand. The infamous and ugly Cybertruck was inspired by video game vehicles. Colossal's wolves are prestige TV creatures. This kind of thinking is everywhere. Blue Origin is sending Katy Perry way high up into the sky, a stunt to help sell a sci-fi daydream, one day taking a bus to the moon. This isn't progress. It's a bunch of toys. Meanwhile, government is actively gutting science and health agencies and firing people who do the challenging and often unglamorous work that research involves, not for personal glory and a shiny press treatment, but simply to advance knowledge and make the world a better place for humans and creatures who already live here. Careful and painstaking conservation work, such as the work restoring wood bison herds to Alaska, is overlooked in favor of designer species given meme sprinkled promo reels. It's pretty gross. So I like what they said. And another one, they're not truly back from the dead. So everybody's covering it. And of course, I picked the ones that are scrutinizing and skeptical because I am. I'm not going to sit there and scream and yell about this when I know what the problems are on this planet. You know? This is him. That's Ben Lamb. That's the billionaire. That's the guy that supposedly owns it in Texas. He says, you know, it's a direwolf. It is a direwolf. And they're going to scream and, you know, yell that it's so positive and that all of these people are just wonderful. Now, if you want to learn about CRISPR, I'll put the Medline Plus is a pretty good explanation, which I don't want to go all into. But that's how they're doing it with genome editing and CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing. This is what they're using. Now, scientists are amazing people, right? But remember, money pollutes brains. Money is corrupting. And just like the scientists who knew that greenhouse gases were bad in the fossil fuel industry, and just like the scientists who knew that tobacco smoking would kill people, money clouded their judgment and they lied. So I don't want to outwardly say that Susan is lying. I think Susan is bought, and she had a lot of brilliance, and she's brilliant. But she's using it in the wrong way. And if she's misled because she thinks this is a conservation effort, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's something probably seductive about being in with these billionaires when you're certainly not one. You're a researcher at a university lab. So this really gives a good explanation on these genome editing CRISPR projects, which I think you should, read on your own. Some of it is being explored in research and clinical trials for a wide variety of diseases, except now that we have RFK Jr., I don't know if any of that's going to happen. Him and goddamn Dr. Oz, we are the laughing stock of. We are. The United States is really the laughing stock of the world. People don't even want to go overseas to go on vacations, which is good for the environment. But Americans are scared to be in European countries, other countries. They're literally, I saw this piece on TV that they're literally putting on Canadian hats and pins and things like that and taking their American shit off. Anything that determines they're American. So this is good. Show notes, okay? Or I'm sure there's a lot of videos. If you're interested in CRISPR and the genome editing stuff, I am sure you can find a video that could talk about it, maybe on Dr. Rackaniello, but he's a virologist, but he might have guests on Microbe TV that would get you more into it. Those of you that may not have that, and all of a sudden, wow, I want to learn about genome editing because I want to learn about these things for the good, not to bring back and de-extinct animals for bullshit reasons and also selling to zoos. That's a big business. Big business. You think the Chinese wouldn't buy these dire wolves for their zoos at big bucks? So this guy defends it. He owns it. And, I'm sorry. He says it's a stupid argument, but I don't like it. So I don't have to keep going. He's going to defend it. At the heart of the issue is the question of how to define de-extinction. There are about 11 different ways to classify a species, Lamb said. Our definition of de-extinction is on our website. It explains that there's a thing called functional de-extinction. The IUCN, which is like the Species Council for the World, 5 years ago put out a statement saying that de-extinction means developing proxies. Proxies, he explains, are not exact replicas of an extinct species, but become that they come very close genetically, hence Frankenwolf. Frankenwolf. So there they go. They did submit a study that it's sponsored for peer review. And they said the research, which is done, it's not even done before they did all this, like cloning. You could call it what you want. Dolly the sheep was a clone. Didn't work out. I don't like this, obviously. The paper builds that previous study published in Nature that the genomics supports Colossal's argument about the wolf's classification. I say, I say bullshit, but we just saw why. So he's a billionaire. He's playing games. They're playing with, if you think that they have the best of humanity's interest in their heart, I don't know. Some conservationists have argued that de-extinction of animals may make people lose interest in preserving species that are near extinction. Lamb hit back at that critique, pointing out that the company makes some of its technologies available free to conservation groups and academic partners who are not going to exist in 6 months if this orange turd administration keeps going. The Republican orange turd administration, I must say. To make money, the company has spun out an AI-based software platform, FormBio, which helps scientists manage complicated data sets. So, okay. So take it out of any university management. Now it's all private. See where we're going? Privatizing of everything. That's the line I'm drawing. And everybody excited for all this is deluded. Like, half the country in the United States or more. Anyway, he says they're using its technology for conservation. Sure. And then they cloned 4 red wolves that'll be able to join the 15 left on Earth. The Red Wolf Project to me is as magical as the dire wolf. Well, so maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. What's their habitat? The red wolf. Are they looking at the fact of why they went extinct or they're going extinct? Are they going to be protected? I mean, let's see. Let's see what happens. But the questions I ask are the pre-doing this genome editing. That's the question I ask. Why did the red wolf get to the edge of extinction in the first place? So that was Beth. All right. So this is the other guy. This is George Church, and he's the father of modern genomic sequencing. He is the co-founder and lead geneticist for Colossal. So I think he's kind of the lead, like really crazy professor kind of guy. But we've already read it, and we don't have to read it on their website necessarily. And he's been in the business a long time. 1974, 84, 86. So this guy, this is it for him. If George doesn't make it with this, George is dead. Obviously. Yep. All right. I'm going to move on. I'm not going into George for too long. I didn't study him enough to criticize him other than working for this private company. They I didn't do that. I did not. No. So let me get back and we're going to go through some questions and have some discussions. I want to come back to you.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Right. They didn't stop to think if they should. Okay. I want to tell you what I have. I don't know if we're going to...
skeptics.
I kind of did something funny. Because Jennifer and I did this show, we read an Intercept article that was called "The CIA Just Invested in Woolly Mammoth Resurrection Technology." It was from September 28th, 2022. So I decided, well, maybe I wouldn't read it. And I ripped it. I thought it would be up to you guys. It was a little long, but it was interesting. And I could just go ahead to the interesting parts. I want to give you a vote. If you want to see Jennifer and me from 2022 reading this article and laughing because, the Intercept, I mean, really, the CIA is interested in this stuff. And if you don't think that they're not interested now even more because of privatization, because of Peter Thiel, because of who is installed in these offices, I can't see, everybody can be corrupted, I think. All right, guys, I'll show you what we did. I won't read the whole thing because nobody's answering me fast enough. So I don't know if are you there? Where are you? And I noticed the viewership has gone down on Sundays. And as it gets to be more spring and summer, I might have to rethink Sunday mornings because not that you guys aren't important, you are, but I might even have to go early because I'm going to try to do things outside. All right. Let me just play a little of this and then I'll come back and decide if you like it or not. I made it faster. I speeded it up so it would go faster because it was such a long piece, but I'm just going to show you what we did back then.
Doubt the prospects for de-extinction, the CIA's venture capital firm
like a
deems
chipmunk.
powerful genetic manipulation tools worth the money.
So we really
Worth
did
the money,
this.
huh? All right. So as rapidly advancing climate emergency turns the planet ever hotter, the Dallas-based biotechnology company Colossal Biosciences has a vision to see the woolly mammoth thunder upon the tundra once again. And as we saw, founders George Church and Ben Lamb have already racked up an impressive list of high-profile funders and investors, including Peter Thiel, Tony Robbins, Paris Hilton,
like I said earlier,
Winklevoss
but this is
Capital, and according to
2022.
the public portfolio, its venture capital arm released this month, the CIA. Colossal says it hopes to use advanced genetic sequencing to resurrect two extinct mammals. Two, okay. Not just the giant Ice Age mammoth, but also a mid-sized marsupial known... Excited. I want some.
I'm mystified.
I want to clear her face underneath.
We were just dying.
So
laughing.
Church, a Harvard geneticist, genome-based dating app visionary. Oh my God, he's a genome. Now you got to get your head around this. It's like in just a few words, it'll blow your mind. A Harvard geneticist who is a genome-based dating app visionary. Got it? and former Jeffrey Epstein funding recipient. Oh my God.
See? I had
God,
told ya.
has proposed the revival of extinct species before.
Like Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Epstein. He is a species of his own.
And he's
oh my
extinct.
God, he's extinct. Oh my God, this whole thing is just like so freaking mind-blowing. I don't even know what I'm reading. It's freaking me out. Speaking to Der Spiegel in 2013, Church suggested the resurrection of the Neanderthal, an idea met with controversy because it would require technology capable of human cloning.
So I guess Jennifer is doing the job of telling you who this dude is. I'm going to continue.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We could clone all kinds of mammals. So it's very likely we could clone a human.
Yeah, half human, half mammoth.
They're going for it. They're going for the Neanderthal. Why clone a human when you can do something like a Neanderthal? And they actually
Cheap
have
labor.
reverse engineered the entire Neanderthal genome. So they have the code for making a Neanderthal. Maybe they put it in their little CRISPR blender.
Well, there you
see
go,
what
Jen.
comes out. That little Frankenstein creature.
We have
Oh my God, these
cheap
people are
labor and
freaking
robots. So
insane.
between robots
They're
and clones, capitalism will never go away until the apocalypse is completely here.
These people are insane.
Yeah, they are.
When the interviewer reminded him of a ban on human cloning, Church said, and laws can change, by the way. So he's going for it.
He's nuts.
Totally going for it. He probably has already been creating a Neanderthal
God.
Frankennoid in his laboratory. They're probably doing it.
That's
They
scary.
have the code. Oh my God. Even when the methods used for de-extinction are
shit.
legal, many scientists are skeptical of its promise. In 2017 paper for Yes, Sandy. Nature, Ecology, and Evolution, a group of biologists from Canada, Australia, and New Zealand found that
They're all in on it.
spending limited resources on de-extinction could lead to net biodiversity loss. De-extinction is a fairy tale science. Yeah, think? Jerry Austin, University of Adelaide professor and director of the Australian Centre for Ancient DNA, told Sydney Morning Herald over the summer when Colossal pledged to sink $10 million into the University of Melbourne for its Tasmanian Tiger project. So they've gotten the University of Melbourne all up into this too. It's pretty clear to people
It's a conspiracy,
like
folks.
me that the thylacine or mammoth de-extinction is more about media attention for scientists and less about doing serious science.
Yeah, serious science.
Critics who say de-extinction of genes to create proxy species is impossible are critics who simply are not fully informed and do not know the science. We have been clear from day one that the path to de-extinction, we will be developing technologies which we hope will be beneficial to both human healthcare as well as conservation, Lam wrote to The Intercept. We will continue to share these technologies as
Lamb, I
we
think, is
develop with
crazy.
the world. So it's all good.
Oh,
It's a
I
good
shouldn't
thing.
use that
It's all
word.
good. It's gonna save the tundra.
different.
It's gonna save us. Good
Yeah.
thing, right? It remains to be seen if Colossal, with In-Q-Tel's backing, can make good on its promises, and it's unclear what exactly the intelligence world might gain from use of CRISPR. But perhaps the CIA shares the company's altruistic, if vague, motives to advance the economies of biology and healing through genetics, to make humanity more human, and to reawaken the lost wilds of Earth so we and our planet can breathe easier.
Wow.
I am just like,
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Well, skeptics doubt.
So yeah,
the prospects.
we had quite a show. I thought it was hilarious, actually. So yeah, I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover. We went through what this is. We have been looking at this and following this for years. But she actually really, I'm so glad that we went back over that article, because you see, now what's going to happen is that everything that's going on in the media, is going to forget about what happened 3 years ago and who this guy really is in the background that The Intercept had found, right? So it's usually that way, isn't it? It's usually that way. They forget and then they play with it, and it's a big diversion. It's a big billionaire bullshit diversion. That's what I say. You know, who am I? Hey, don't forget to like the stream. You know, I came up with something. I was thinking about this, liking the stream and looking at percentages. Not on my channel. I never look at analytics, but looking at the big channels, and let's say somebody gets thousands of views in the percentage of likes. I think, and maybe you guys can answer this. Are people afraid of liking too many videos because that means that your history of what you like is accessible to anybody that runs any kind of spreadsheet on it or data on it? I don't know. I know I have more than 5,000 videos I've liked, probably. And then on YouTube, what happens if you want to get rid of all your liked videos? Can you unlike videos, right? And start all over? Does that then take the like away from the video you watched 10 years ago and liked? I have no clue. What do you think? You can unlike. Yeah, but I mean mass. If you mass unlike, can you say, okay, I want to unlike everything? Can you do that? One by one. Yeah, exactly. I think about that when I look at the specific percentages on big channels. Like I said, I don't have time to look at analytics or any of that stuff because it's not interesting to me. What's interesting to me is you're here at the time and playing with my video and graphics and all. Yeah. Let's see. The absolute fucking stupidity and disconnect of these people. Over 300 species go extinct every day. Right. How about preventing that? Or I don't even know. I mean, of course, I'm going to say, hey, it's very hard to make these changes. But when you look at the groups that are out there, they're trying to make changes. And not colossal. I'm talking about real conservation groups that are working, scientists from academia that are working on keeping these species from becoming extinct. But if there's no habitat and everything is polluted and there's microplastics, it's a polycrisis. There are so many issues affecting the reasons why all these animals are going extinct. Overshoot is the biggest one. We've overshot our boundaries. Okay, no, YouTube would not let me delete a playlist until I remove the vids one by one. Yeah, so if you have 10,000 likes and the government decides to come into YouTube and Google and seize their lists looking for traitors and people that are committing treason, well, they look at your like list. I laugh, but the places my brain takes me. Not that I think I'm paranoid like that. These are just things I think about. Let's see. You have always been anti-likes, just fuck the algorithm. Oh, really? So, but it fucks the algorithm on the video you like? I don't know. Are we self-censoring yet? I'm not, but who knows? Aw, I watch a lot of gardening videos now, definitely. The last thing the corporate wants is for you to delete your data. That's their lifeblood. They'll let you pretend, though. Yeah, they probably have it backed up. I've never been investigated. I bet there's no built-in method to unlike everything you've liked. No, of course not. That's why I wanted to ask you guys. Flush the microplastics? Should I flush the microplastics? Yes, I would love to flush the microplastics. I'm sure I'm flushing microplastics. All right. Yep. And that's right. So why are they going extinct? That's the big thing. And it's great to save, and I'm all for it, but not if you're saving them to go extinct faster, or hardships happening, or starvation. The federal government in the United States is not going to pay for these programs. So if a company like Colossal with their 2,000, what they're going to do is keep animals like that in their 2,000-acre ranch, wherever it is, Texas. Yeah, Texas. Texas should be a country of its own. Mm-hmm. A bit about an hour. Did you learn something? Did you learn that these people are billionaire people with nothing better to do than figure out how to edit genes, which for medical use I can see, but it does seems a little bit nefarious, but I don't want to be too skeptical, but I gave you every reason why. All right. Bob, there are extensions available for browsers like Chrome that can automate actions on websites. Some users have reported using auto-clicker extensions to repeatedly click the unlike. Yeah, but what does it do to the channel that you've liked? Does it matter to them? A 10-year-old video? I don't know. That's interesting. Thanks for thinking about it. Yeah, we're all flushing microplastics because they're in our food. Nerdles. I know, Shade Dragon. It's really a big Gemini AI gave me those options. Cool. We can't fight it. AI is here to stay, folks, as long as you're ethical about how you use it. I hardly use it, but it's tempting. I'm human. It's tempting. And that's how I got the information very quickly on the investors and background. But I feel that the Chat GPT, I don't have plus. I have the basic. I've noticed about Chat GPT is it pulls a lot of older information. Maybe I told you this last show. Pulls a lot of older information. And it doesn't impress me that much. I could have taken 5 more minutes and found everything on Google. So, whatever. Your tomatoes you tried to start this winter from seed totally flopped. Aw. Hey, listen, I'm not even there. And by the way, remember, guys, I told you about I'm having a raised bed project. Well, first of all, number one, I can't afford it. Number two, the Amish neighbor of mine who was going to do that is moving to Vermont. And wait till you hear the reason why. Stopped by yesterday. He's moving to Vermont because his wife said she cannot take these warm New York winters. So they're moving to Vermont, which I said, well, they flood. And Harvey's like, he's on the fence about this whole move, but evidently he sold his whole property. He invested a ton of money in a sawmill. He did built the house bigger. So it's some guy from Tennessee is coming up here in retirement for this property. So I guess they're gone. So no raised beds. I will replenish my mounds. I have 7 of them. And hopefully get the kids that I met, these young people I met, at hands off that want to help me weed. I need help with everything. But yeah, what happened? It sucked so bad. I'm so sorry. We get so upset. That's why my greenhouse sucks. It doesn't have enough ventilation, so I have to be really careful where I plant. And I'm late. I haven't even planted seeds. I'm just trying to start to feel better. But and Wanda, yeah, Maureen Dowd, the author, was stating that AI is a teenager now. Once it is an adult, well, it'll be terrible. Maureen Dowd. I once wrote a scathing article about her, like many years ago on Medium. I took it off, but you can still find it. It was about the Clinton. It was back Clinton age. Yeah. Hey, Have you ever talked to Christopher Brown, author of A Natural History of Empty Lots? No, but I will. I'm wondering if it's the same Christopher Brown. I will. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. I like hints, but I'm going to tell you, everybody, you know, I'm really a procrastinator and I'm very slow at everything. Yeah. Yeah, Susan. They are good neighbors. They've been very good neighbors, but they're starting a new life. Maybe, and I hate to sound like this, but everybody's related around here. He's got 4 daughters and a son, and everybody's so related around here. Maybe they're going to Vermont with an all new gene pool that they don't have to genomically edit. Oh my God. The places this brain takes me. So maybe he is thinking of the future and marrying off his daughters to not genetically related neighbors, people. So yeah. Okay. All right. I will. Thank you, Kendall. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. It's been an hour, and I think that's great for this. Wait, we have one more. Hide or show likes and save playlists. You can show activities such as liking a video or subscribing to a channel in your activity feed. You can also choose to keep these activities private. Yes, I keep everything private. I do. I'm really glad you all came, though. Good show. And today I am cooking and going to a potluck at 5 o'clock with a bunch of women, which I think it should be pretty cool because we need a safe space to be able to talk about all the things we want to talk about. And my girlfriend, Karen, is putting it on, and it's really very nice. Where is Looney? Maybe it's too early for him. Maybe. Okay. We're good. We're good. So I'm cooking. I'm actually making a vegan dish. And I am hopefully starting to plant, just like you. I'm sorry, Foggy, about your seeds. Elaine, thank you for coming. I love you. Because elbows up. Have a beyond awesome day, everyone. And remember to smash the like button. Yeah, smash it even if you think that you're going to be on some list. Okay. We're not going to be on a list. I don't think so. I don't know. I like to make a lot of jokes, but we really don't know because look at what we've seen so far in the United States. I mean, shit. I don't want to go to Canada because I don't want to go past Border Patrol. And people in the United States now it used to be they were embarrassed to travel when it was the first orange term. Now they're scared, literally, of backlash because of what this administration has said about just about every country you want to go to. And this whole tariff debacle, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Yeah, it is. All right, guys. Peace. Most likely Tuesday will be just a video. Because if it's warm and my back isn't killing me, I'm outside. Yay! Woo! Absolutely.